The U.S. Senate has passed a new coronavirus relief bill aimed to help small businesses, fund hospitals, and help with testing efforts.
Oklahoma Senator James Lankford is joining us now from Oklahoma City via Skype to talk about this. Good morning, Senator. And we laid out kind of those areas, the small business, hospitals, and funding for testing. Kind of elaborate a little bit about how much is going where.
Yeah, this is something we tried to start on 2 weeks ago, actually, to extend the Paycheck Protection Program. That program has helped small businesses and not-for-profits pay their staff, basically. Those workers are not receiving paychecks from anywhere but unemployment if they don't get some assistance. So this provides 8 weeks of pay for all the workers in every small business and in all nonprofits around the country. So that is extremely important to us. The second part of it is called the EIDL loans. That's a small business loan as well. It's the economic injury disaster loan. It adds additional funding to that. And then, as you mentioned before, additional funding to hospitals who've been very hard hit, nursing homes, other medical facilities, and then additional money for increased testing, including the antibody testing. And so in the days ahead, individuals will be able to determine have they had the COVID-19 virus or not. And that will help them determine basically, how much they can interact in the future because they will know if I'm most likely immune or if my body's very efficient in fighting this off.
Senator Lankford, I wanted to ask specifically about this small business loans portion because there have been reports the AP did an investigation about how some $100 million companies got some of the money. They're publicly traded. How do we ensure that the small business money is getting in the right hands of these small businesses who may not make it?
The vast majority of the dollars got into the smallest of businesses from the first tranche of the money that went out. And so the second tranche is coming out. There's an enormous number. Is there any question that there's going to be inefficiencies in government and there's going to be some people trying to be able to get what they should not get? No question that's going to happen. We'll have follow-up from there, and we'll have accountability and inspector general, not for the banks and those folks because they're held harmless, for the actual borrowers that come in and try to be able to exploit this program. That follow-up will come later, but we have set clear guidelines. These are individuals and businesses that are affected by COVID-19 and that they're small businesses, and trying to be able to get that out as quick as we can. The last thing you want to do is overcomplicate this, that individuals that desperately need the help can't get the help right now because someone has violated the rules. We'll deal with them later. Let's get help to as many people as we can now.
Senator, let's turn our attention to the oil industry. What's going to be done possibly to help that area?
So I spent a lot of time dealing with energy the last several weeks on it. Originally in the CARES Act, we had in the Senate side, we had a portion to be able to purchase more oil for the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We have a supply side issue right now, and that's one of the areas that we thought would help in that. It doesn't solve the problem by far because we have way more oil on the world market than we need, but it would help American producers. The House actually blocked that, wouldn't allow that to be in. We're still trying to be able to push and work our way through the process on that. There's about 250 million barrels of capacity that we could put in that Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That would help us in two ways, both help the supply issues right now, but also we could get very inexpensive oil and we could hold it, and then over the next 5, 10, 15 years, we could sell it and actually make money back to the Treasury in the days ahead. That's one. The president and others are working right now. I was on the phone for a long time with the Secretary of Energy yesterday, working through how we can get lower collateral loans to a lot of our energy companies to help keep them afloat. We're also working through speculation on the oil market at this point, as many speculators jump in. People that don't ever expect to be able to take delivery of oil will speculate on the futures of that. That creates an unstable market. So there's a lot of areas that we're working on right now that I'm particularly very engaged in. The biggest challenge we have, though, is we have 30% more gasoline on the world market than the world needs right now, and there is no quick fix for that.
Senator Lankford, I also wanted to ask what you were hearing from your constituents as far as getting the economy going again versus maybe waiting a little longer, more testing. We've seen both sides of the argument. Obviously, we've seen protesters in the news here recently on both sides. What are you hearing the consensus among Oklahomans?
Yeah, there is no consensus right now other than a desire to have COVID-19 solved. The flu season's not scary for us every year, though there are thousands that are killed around the country by the flu every year because we have testing, we have treatment, we have vaccines. We don't have all three of those for COVID-19, and we won't have all three of those until probably early next year. So the challenge is, are we going to keep the entire economy locked down and everybody sheltering at their home for an entire year, or do we have to find some way to be able to phased approach? I'm one of those folks that says we need to find a way to be able to do phased approach. Increased testing is a major portion of that. So if someone feels sick, they can be tested immediately, get an answer quickly, not have to wait 4 or 5 days to be able to get an answer. But if we can get to a situation where we get faster test results, help isolate those. We're going to have to continue to protect those high-risk individuals that have heart disease and diabetes and other folks with comorbidities to be able to figure out what we can do to be able to help guard them. But we do have to slowly reopen the economy and to be able to get us back going again. And we need to set some dates of when that might occur so people could plan for it.
Senator, we are out of time, but just very quickly, the measure that you all approved yesterday now goes to the House of Representatives. How soon could that money be in the hands of our small businesses?
House will take that up today. I have every expectation that they will pass that. The president's already said he will sign it. They would do that today. That would mean that we would reopen the Paycheck Protection Program and the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Senator James Lankford there from Oklahoma City.